Hey guys, welcome back to Math with Marcel. Today we're going to go over fractions and mixed fractions on how to subtract regular fractions and mixed fractions. This is a simple problem. This is a little bit more complicated, but we are going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so follow me. So right here we're going to subtract 7/4 minus 4/3. Okay, the first thing you want to do is you got to make sure that the denominator matches. If this is a 4, this has to be a 4. If this is a 3, this has to be a 3. Or not exactly 3 and 4, but it has to be a common denominator, meaning that both numbers are multiples of the same number. Right here, our lowest common factor would be multiplying by itself. So 3 times 4 and 4 times 3. And the reason why, it's because if you can see 3 times 4 is 12 and 4 times 3 equals 12. Now the common factor, I call him the king because he's in control of the entire operation. So if the king doesn't match, you cannot perform the operation. You cannot say 7 minus 4 equals 3 what? Because then the lowest denominator, the denominator doesn't match. Right here, we made a match. Now the denominator is 12 on both numbers, so now we can go ahead and continue. So remember, whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So if you multiply 3 times 4 on the bottom, you have to multiply times 4 on the top. 4 times 4 equals 16, and same thing over here. If you multiply 4 times 3 on the bottom, you have to multiply times the same number on the top. 7 times 3 equals 21. 21 minus 16 becomes 5/12. And now 5/12 is in simple form. You don't have to do anything else. Now, if we go to the other problem, we're going to go ahead and look at this problem. So now, same scenario. If the denominator doesn't match, you cannot perform the operation. You have to make sure that the king matches. And in order for us to look for the common denominator, lowest common denominator, you would have to start with the smallest number. So can the smallest number go into this big number? And the answer is yes, because 4 times 3 equals 12, right? So now they both match. So all you have to do is carry this one over, and it would be 7/12. And now the king matches. This number matches, right? So now we're gonna go ahead and go back to here and make sure that you always remember that whatever you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So 3 times 3 is 9. And also over here, you didn't multiply times nothing, so we just carry on with the 7/12, we carry it on. So now, we have another problem. We can't subtract 7 minus 9. It's just not normal, unless you go into negative numbers. But in this case, we're not working with negative or positive numbers. We're gonna go ahead and borrow one from this guy. We're gonna borrow 1, and it's gonna become a 4. And that 1 that we borrowed, you're gonna add it to this side. Okay? So you're adding it to this side, but you know that this guy's the king. So do you agree that 1 equals to 12 over 12? Yes, the king is in control, therefore it becomes itself. 12 divided by 12 equals to 1. So this 1 disappears. And now we're able to add this one plus that 1 that we borrowed. So 12 plus 7 equals 19, and then the king just carries on. He doesn't change. So now we got 19 over 12 minus 9 over 12. So our answer becomes 10 over 12. But then you can't forget about the whole numbers. So 4 minus 3, it's 1 and 10/12. But this is not simplified. We can simplify it a little bit more. So if you cut the 10 in half, it becomes a 5. If you cut the 12 in half, it becomes a 6. Therefore, our final answer is 1 and 5/6. Now, working with fractions, you have to always remember, if you're adding and subtracting, you always have to remember that the bottom number has to match. If it doesn't match, you have to look for a common factor, and then you're able to do the operation. In this case, it was 12, so now you can see that the king matches, and you're able to perform the operation. In addition, it works the same way. You have to make sure that the denominator matches in order for you to add or subtract. Same thing over here. They didn't match, but we looked for the lowest common factor, and it was 12. 12 matches. So then we borrowed 1 from this guy, we added it to this guy to make it bigger than this one so we can perform the operation. 19 minus 9, it becomes 10/12. You reduce the fraction and it becomes 1 and 5/6, which is this. Okay, if you guys have any questions, please go ahead and comment on the bottom. Give me your thumbs up if you like the video, and we'll see you on my next video.